Alright guys, here we go. We got brand new game. FortressCraft Evolved. We've got it set on scarce resources, we've got it set on slow conveyors. Right now I think I'm this is me narrating afterwards. Oh yeah, I had to get that tree. So I'm getting the tree. Get a little wood. I gotta remember to put the wood fuel resource into my CHP or CPH. Now I'm heading over to get this coal that I found. Scanning. Nice little chunk of coal. I've played this game mode a couple times and it is ridiculously slow. I was gonna try to do a whole real-time game narration gameplay, but you'll see how much I get done in an hour of playing this game, and you'll understand how slow it actually is. I might take a second to show you some real-time conveyor belt. I don't even get to conveyor belts in this first game. In the first hour, I don't get to conveyor belts. So I found some tin over here. I'm going to get this big piece of tin. That's a big chunk of tin. Really wish they would fix the way... yeah, that's tin. Really wish they would fix the way that the scanner worked, because once you get down there and you're right next to it and it sits there, it stays highlighted forever. And of course I lose my little hole. Ain't that how it goes? Go back down there, put my drill, my miner up, put a little power into it. And this is something I just started doing. Actually digging out a diagonal tunnel toward my CHP, toward my headquarters. And it's kind of really smart. I'm like, maybe I'm not as smart as I thought I was. I'm surprised that it took me so long to figure this out. But it's pretty nice. This one ends up right by my CHP there. Central CPH, Central Power Hub. It's a CPH. Central Power Hub. So, I've now I'm putting some of that tin into the miner, into the smelter. I don't know, four might be too fast. Okay, so here's I found some coal. I think this is coal, right? No, this is not coal. I meant to say copper. So I found some copper. And I'm gonna go ahead and dig out my little diagonal. It was actually really close. It's closer to my CPH than this was. I think I got distracted watching something on TV. Something distracted me. And I wanted to build a little platform to keep... I realized that I think what it is, the best I can tell, is you walk slow on snow. So I was walking slow on snow. And another thing I started doing is just building those diagonals so I don't have to walk all the way down into the mine shaft to actually get my resources. I just kind of move over and look at it from the CPH, and it's easy to collect. And you gotta remember, in this game, I think there's a 64 block, the range that you can interact with things is 64 blocks, I'm pretty sure. Because I know you can measure distances, and after 64 distances, I think it's like a null value. It doesn't work. So I like to move that first battery block over next to my smelter, because that smelter can draw from the battery cube game actually calls it, from the battery, cube, power core, to and the CPH at the same time. You know, either way. And the CPH is the only thing that I have right now that's drawing power. So my first goal, that's producing electricity. My first goal that I had in this game was to produce a small mini hopper. I wanted the mini hopper so I could just set it up next to the... Because before I have the mini hopper, I have to sit there, and as soon as my fuel gets burnt up in my CPH, see, it's burning up. It's burning. I gotta put a new one in. And if you don't right away, you'll end up losing power. The smelter has to heat up first, so it has to draw electricity to heat up before it can start smelting. And if it doesn't get hot enough, it doesn't start smelting, then you'll just lose all the electricity, all the power that you were building up in it in the first place. So, also, I put that light there to keep me warm. Now I happen to be standing on it, so it got too hot. But if you look up in the top left, you see that I don't have any suit power, and I'm just kind of standing next to the... If you keep the external temperature at 20 degrees Celsius, you won't freeze. You'll be fine. So I need 4 of each copper and tin bars to make the hopper, and I think I just made it. Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, I just made it. So now I can load this up. This is sort of a basic hopper that you kind of start off with. I think it can only send a piece of material. It can only send a material every 30 seconds, but it can hold up to 10 pieces at a time. Whereas the logistics hopper, the white one, is the other basic one that they're interchangeable. The logistics hopper on the side there, it can only hold 2 units of whatever, but it moves them like within a second. It moves them right away. So that's one of the cheap things that you start out with. I always got to make sure I put lights or I'll lose my locations. This is a really hard game mode. The par time for completing it is like 1,000 hours. 10 times longer than a normal game, and 5 times longer than this game is supposed to last on default settings. I used to try to set up my conveyor belts first and then go back and forth to actually give it power and send. But because the conveyor belts are so slow in this game mode, I decided to set up to automate power delivery first. Here I'm just checking out different upgrades I'm going to get later. I still have like basically nothing. But it should make for an interesting game mode. Interesting play. Long and thoughtful, and everything's got to be very efficient. If one thing isn't efficient, it's going to slow down the rest of the process. So far, what's bottleneck? See, there we go. I just finished automating that one power thing. And the power system, those little power transfer units, I think they're either 4 bars each, copper and tin, or 2. They're either 2 or 4. If you get a chance to see it, it's going too fast for me to actually. Also, my screen's really blurry what I'm looking at. So now we're smelting. Just sitting around, kind of doing all this work by hand, where pretty much at this point in a normal game, I would have like 1 or both of these veins fully automated already, and just cranking out bars and just collecting them and just building and building, making more stuff, but it just goes so slow. And at night, when there's no solar power, because those are little solar panels on top of the CPH there. At night, first of all, it gets a lot colder at night, so my suit uses a lot more power. And secondly, there's no solar power, so like if I run a scan or if I research a scan, the whole system shuts down because it's diverting so much power to recharge the research block that everything is basically the whole system just collapses, and I won't get any work done until that block the research block is charged. So this is another sort of not automation, but efficiency progress. I ended up realizing that I was off by one, and so I couldn't find my laser beam to send power to it, and I've got to put the laser beam actually right on the wall, so I have to build the wall back into this so I can put the next power transfer unit, I can't remember what they're called, on the actual wall right behind. It's me trying to get up there, but I couldn't get up there. I had to take the long way. More stuff. Smelter. Unfortunate smelting accident. And I'm still waiting. And I think the CPH produces 4 power per second. And each one of those little machines, each one of the power transfers 1 power per second. So what I'm saying is once I get about 4 on there, the whole system starts to shut down and I start to build generators, pyrothermic generators. Still just upkeep right now. Alright, now we're going looking for more stuff. Also, there's one of those monsters right next to me, those hive minds right next to me. All that pink you see, like on the same level as me, is a hive mind. I think I go scan it, but I don't. I was really disappointed, but I don't think they actually do anything until you start feeding them ores as they're invading your belts. What are they called? Conveyor belts. Jeez. This whole narration thing I might not be good at. I can't remember words. So there, finally got that set up. Now got both of my smelters. Power automated. Yeah, there's that hive mind. So this, why is that such an odd shape? That's such a how does that shape get to be like that? There must be something up there. I don't think so, because this is the only thing I found out. On the next episode, I will be exploring that a little more. But we did find some iron, which is always what I needed next. So, we're heading back up now, do a little more maintenance, a little more upkeep, check things out, go ahead and scan that stuff since it's day, and produce a little more energy. Head on back down, put my miner, we're going to set my miner up in a position that it can be easily power automated. And there's a lot of ore there. So. Alrighty. Well then, that's gonna be episode 1. Oh yeah, that's right. I go get it. Put it back. That would be important. I forget it's actually like 10 minutes go by in the real game. Trouble because that one block is actually not 4. Alright guys, that's that's episode 1. I will see you in episode 2.